So like, let's say we're doing this, let's say we're doing G minor, right? And we do G minor, like with our old skeleton, like that. And let's go ahead and throw a 9 on top. Right on, man. Remember when we were learning that? Now you just know it. That's great. All right, so let's say that's our G minor 7. We're doing a G minor 9. Okay? Now the pinky's on an A note, right? The 2 of G, the 9. So when we go to A minor, we could leave our pinky there and make that the root of our voicing. See that? So we had G minor 9 to A minor. That's kind of cool. Another thing we could do is we could have done like a G minor, and instead of doing a minor 9, we could have done the root. So like we could have repeated the root, you know, which would be this. And then gone to our voicing. And what's cool about that is that here you have the highest voice is going upward, while the lowest voice is going downward. See what I'm talking about? So you have contrary motion in the outer voices. So you got like this to this. That's a good question, but you know what? Let's avoid that just for a moment. Well, okay, I'll just, because I don't like avoiding things, I'll just point it out. Well, our pinky on that first one goes down a fourth. That's quite a large jump. And then the D string goes down, or no, the D string goes up a half step. Cool. Which actually kind of brings me to something. It's like, could we reduce these? Well, if we're using these voicings here, we couldn't. Well, actually, here's a way you could think about it. Here's our G minor, right? And doing it this way with the doubled octave is kind of cool, or at least the higher part is cool, having the octave up top, because then when it moves to the A, the root of our A minor chord, we get that counterpoint motion I talked about. But we don't really need like, maybe if instead of doing this, we could do it as third inversion. So instead of playing the root on the bass, I could go to the flat 7 with that. So now my voicing's like that. Cool. Yeah. So it's like we got the F as our lowest note, and that's going to be 8th fret, and all the strings will be 8, 8, 10, 8. And that would make this the G minor to the A voicing, A minor that we're practicing. Cool. Now, if we could drop this, now we have a doubled 7th. And that's where our big 4th is. So if we want to reduce that, maybe we should bring it down, right? So this is a minor 7 chord. So we could do a 6th, but a 6th is dangerous, because you have to know whether the chord is a 2 chord, a 3 chord, or a 6 chord. Now here we can see that it's a 2 chord, because the next chord is that's a 2 chord. I don't know if I just said that over and over. That it is a 2 chord because the next one's A minor, and diatonically the only time you have 2 chords, 2 minor chords a whole step apart is between the 2 and the 3. Now, that isn't all, like, they could just be changing keys on us and stuff, but we really don't have a way to know that yet. What we see is that we have 2 minor chords a whole step apart, and therefore we know that must be the 2 and the 3 if we are to assume that these are in one key. You know, in effect they'll sound like they're in one key anyway, unless maybe the melody does something, you know, tricky to show otherwise. But anyway, my point is, you got, like, if we're basically in the key of F here, got the 2 chord and 3 chord of the first chords, that would seem reasonable. Now, a person could see that everything, all the harmony is always relative, so a person could make a case for a lot of different things. But that's what we're going to go with for right now, which means that if it's a 2 chord, it's going to have what kind of sixth? Natural or flat? Natural, because it's like Dorian mode, right? And so let's lower this 7 that we're playing on the 10th fret down 1 fret. So yeah, we got 8, 8, 9, 8. And that will reduce that jump from a 4th to a 3rd. Anyway, this is kind of more about like thinking about voice leading, and it's helping us find new voicings. But the real objective here, we've kind of jumped the shark a little bit on that, because all that stuff is valid, but really what we were kind of focusing in is playing chords that are kind of normal and natural, and finding where these newer voicings that we're trying to work into our playing can fit in, right? So like the example would be, maybe we do G minor 9 to A minor 7 with our new voicing. Cool. Next we have G minor 7 again. So how about this time maybe we do a G minor 3rd inversion. This is one that we talked about when we took this and like original major 7 and we went, and we did it with minor voicings. It was like this. So that's the voicing we're going to take. But we're going to move it down to there. In case you need a reminder, that's going to be a middle finger on the 8th fret of the A string. It's going to go 8, 8, 7, 8, inner 4 strings. Okay, and now we've got a C7 chord, right? And here's how I would think about this. All right, if we're going to do our special shape, we have to start with the high note on the 5th. And here's how I think about, where do I find the 5th nearby here? I go, oh, well, here's a C, you know, like right there. So this would be the 5th. Yeah, not that one, because that can't be our high note. We need our high note to be on the B or the E string. But yeah, you could take that one and then up it an octave. There we go. And so now you use that high note to create the dominant. Right. And so now we're not using it for every chord. We're kind of alternating. We're trying to use it when we think we can. So it'd be like this now. We had our G minor 9 to A minor 7 to G minor 7 to C dominant 7. Right? The root would be really nice to hear there. But that's that. Next we have an F major 7. You know, we could find a place for it, but you know what? Let's go ahead and just do F triad for a moment. Cool. And now there's 2 Fs in this chord, right? The A string and the B string. We could drop either one of those down a fret to have a major 7th in our chord. If we did it with the high note, you'd have a really conventional voicing. That's used all the time. Or we could have dropped the other one, which would have been the 3rd inversion, which is a little more interesting, I think, but a little more tense as well. Okay, so what was the one we just did? Oh, it was this for the C chord. I kind of like using the 3rd inversion one. One, because I find it to be more interesting on its own, but also it makes for the smallest movement when I switch from one chord to another. Like the voices don't go as far. This one only goes down a whole step instead of a minor 3rd, and this one only goes up a whole step instead of a minor 3rd. So it's smaller leap that way. And next we have a G minor 7. Maybe here I could do this again, but I want to avoid that because we just did it, you know. How about this? Let's do, oh, minor 7, my bad. Which was the 2nd inversion that we learned from when we did this whole exercise. So that's going to be 5-5-3-6. Yeah, A string, 5th fret, D string, 5th fret, G string, right. Okay, and then next, why don't we do A minor 7 with our new voicing, but we're going to do it in the high E string, because I remember that one was really cool. It was like, oh, like this. Actually, this is not the one I was thinking of, but it'll work all the same. And in fact, because it starts on the D string, we could add an open A if we want. Cool. It is tricky. And then we have a D7 flat 9. Why don't we just do this? We'll go from here to our ordinary D7 shape, like with the D7 skeleton. I would say skeleton. Anyway, and then we'll add the flat 9 as they request. So that's where I like bar with my index finger and get the B string 4th fret. But here's the thing: I want to add the 4th fret of the high E string too. That's a flat 5 or a sharp 11. In this case, flat 5, because obviously we're using the altered scale. Now the reason I want to use that, other than the fact, I mean, it does sound cool and so on, but because here we had the high note was an A, and if we have the A flat, then we get some cool voice leading. Cool? And then you could just do G minor vanilla style, you know, which is the next chord. Or maybe like this. Maybe that would be cooler. This one might be nice because we just came from here. Kind of makes for a little better voice leading. And what I'm doing there, I mean a little better. It's not the most amazing thing, but it'd be the 5th fret of the D string, 3rd fret of the G, 6th fret of the B, high E string 3rd fret. So it's kind of like just a minor triad, where I'm putting the flat 7 on the B string. Cool? All right, so I'll just do a quick recap of how I just went through all that, okay? G minor 9, A minor 7, G minor 7, 3rd inversion, C7, and then F major 7, 3rd inversion. It's like a regular triad where I flat the bass, which, I mean, it's not really flatting the bass because it's the F, so it's going to the 7th, so it makes 3rd inversion. And then G minor 7, we did that 2nd inversion. And then we did the A minor 7 with our voicing we're working on, with questionable voice leading, although we can have the open A string, which is nice. And then the D7 flat 9 with a flat 5 as well. Yep. And then G minor 7 with just a minor triad, but with the 7, the pinky playing the 6th fret of the B string. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do it a little quicker to kind of get a vibe for it. It was like this. If I can do it quicker. Let's see, what was it? Oh, I do it with A. So, tricky. I mean, I couldn't do that like bap, 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 you know, unless I would need to practice like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And I'll do that again. I think, other than that one obvious mistake, I think I did that all correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And that's just me trying to get better at changing them. If I were to actually play them, you know, maybe I would want to have a little more rhythmically interesting than 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I could do bop bop, that'd be cool. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Oh, let me try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You know, so like what I did there was I pushed their entry back a quarter note, so it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oops, that was actually kind of, that's actually really cool. What that is, I instead of put my pinky on the 6th fret of the B string, which was what I meant to do, I put it on the 6th fret of the G string, which makes it minor 7 flat 5. Only we left out the minor 3rd here, or actually even the 7th. So it's like, what we got is we have our root, our flat 5, like in the blues scale, and then our 5th. So really that's kind of like obviously from the blues scale, or sharp 11, and then the root on top again. And that sounds really cool. It actually sounds nice after, you know, if you wanted to be a little clearer as far as like what kind of chord it is, you could skip this root up here and make it the minor 3rd, because we didn't have it. So that'd be like this. Beautiful. So that would be like A minor, D7, and then that cool. Wow, listen to that, man. That's so cool. Let me try that again. I'm into a whole measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,